So, my people, this is something that I'm going to admit. I have been searching for the perfect gaming mouse in terms of shape for a very long time that can help me aim consistently. I have gone through many in my collection, and a couple of them I posted videos about. But this mouse right here, I think, is it for me. I think this is potentially my end game. This right here is the Logitech G Pro X Superlight 2 DeX. So we're just going to call this a DeX from now on. I don't know why the marketing team decided to get it this long. I just don't know. But first, I want to go over the specs of this bad boy. So the length is 126 millimeters. The height is roughly around 44 millimeters, and the width of the mouse at the widest point is about 67.7 millimeters. If we're rounding it up, about 68 millimeters. Now, the weight is also going to be around 60 grams using a Hero 2 sensor, the exact same sensor used on the Logitech G Pro X Superlight 2. And we will get into the other aspects of the technical specifications as shown here. But before I continue on, the battery life at 1K hertz can last around 100 hours. So I've had a love-hate relationship with Logitech. For me, they do great products in my opinion in terms of having a mouse that works for a lot of people. I mean, look at the Logitech G Pro X Superlight 2. This mouse has been made from way earlier as 2018 with the GPW, and this shape has been absolutely tremendous for a lot of people. An ambidextrous shape that is basically potato-like, and what we mean by potato-like is that you can just grip the mouse however you want, whether it's a palm grip, a variation of claw grip, variation of a fingertip grip, and it will work no matter what. This shape is so safe with having very minimal curvatures and having a nice bulbous design that you can find a grip that works for you wherever you go. Now for me, this mouse is a good mouse, but the problem is finding that consistent grip, which I mentioned in a video ages ago. You can actually check it up in the card right here. I reviewed the original Superlight, and for me, it was just finding that consistent grip, because once I found it, it clicked with me and I was able to perform as well as I could. Now, I've had other mice in my time that have performed very well, but nearly, if not matched the Superlight. Not exceeding it, but matched it, with my most notable one being the OP1 8K. The Superlight has always been a decent shape. I just could never find a consistent grip. Now, when it comes to the DeX, it's completely what I'm looking for. I'm able to find a very locked-in grip due to how the curvatures are designed, with very minimal curvatures, as I can just show you right here. So it slants out at the right point, but if we look at the base as well, you can notice that the grip width, it's not as aggressive as other mice, but it still is able to lock your hands in and allow you, at least at my hand size, to create basically a lot of pocket room to micro adjust. And due to the slope nature of the hump being quite risen while being gradual, you're able to get a nice amount of micro adjustment while having great contact with the palm, compared to something like the Superlight, where it has a bit more of a sharp cutoff point around here, which means that you can always get a consistent grip, but it will fill out a smaller portion of your palm, whereas this covers the majority of my palm regardless of what I'm doing. Another thing to mention regarding the G Pro X Superlight 2 DeX, or the DeX, is that in terms of specification, this is the exact same as the Superlight. So the weight should be the exact same, the clicks are the exact same, the scroll wheel is the exact same, everything is the exact same, with the only caveat being the skate design being slightly different. But they are, well, as you notice, these are using aftermarket skates. These are still having the Logitech skates that are absolutely rubbish. And other issues that I have with this mouse that don't really detriment it that much, except for one thing. And I will get onto that a little bit later. But for now, with this mouse, you know, there's nothing really different in comparison on the internals compared to the Superlight, so it's really down to what fits your needs, an ergo mouse or an ambi mouse. And for me, the ergo mouse, the more I use it, the more I prefer it, compared to an ambidextrous mouse, which I've tried to get used to, but again, it has that issue of being very potato-like, whereas this locks your hand in more. So comparing this to another ergo option that I can find on the market, such as the Lambsooth Thorn, this mouse has a bit more of aggressive curvature in the thumb curve, which you can see round about here, compared to the DeX, which has a bit more, like I said, a gradual curvature But one thing you'll notice is that there is a curvature on the right hand side of the mouse that curves out a bit more aggressively, which feels really nice if you're gonna palm the mouse or even claw the mouse, as there's constant, for me at least, I have a contact area here and here as well, enveloping my hand. Whereas, for example, with the Thorn, I have to push in and create a little bit more tension to get there, because the side curvature, as you can see, is a lot more flat, which makes it a bit more safer. But at the same time, due to how short and, well, in a way, stubby this mouse can feel sometimes, you want to pull it. It incentivizes you to pull the mouse in to really get as much contact as you can. And when I do, it covers nearly the same amount of areas as the Dex, but I feel like my hand would just not feel natural in its position. Now, again, with my finger placement, I end up wanting to keep my pinky aligned with the sensor. I'm close to it with this, but with the Dex, I just naturally get it 100% of the time. It just feels that natural to me in the hand compared to something like the Lamzu Thorn. And don't get me wrong, the Thorn is absolutely great, but on my copy, if this wasn't an issue with the left mouse button here having a very, well, as you can see, a lot of play with the left mouse button, I would have made this, even for the switches that were used internally, which in my opinion are not that good, using erasure optical switches. Whereas if we compare this to the Superlight, for me, the quality of the buttons on my copy, very good, very minimal pre-travel, and I can click with very minimal post-travel on left and the right clicks. And these feel amazing in the hand. Overall, these little aspects just make me like the mouse more and more and more. But let's get on to the negatives. So the first negative, which I already mentioned, is the skate design. And another negative that you'll notice is, again, the skate designs is completely different. They need to stop doing this with every G Pro Superlight that they were going to release more and more, even like an upgraded Dex, whatever. I just don't see the point of it at all. And again, the skates are really crap. I'd recommend that you replace them. If you can't find any, you're gonna have to go for dot skates. The second issue on this particular copy is the mouse wheel. Now, when you click in like this, it will usually activate a mouse click, but you can actually move this without it bouncing back up into a deactivation state, and you can keep basically moving around. This can be very annoying if you're playing an RTS or a MOBA, or if you use pings in Apex or Rainbow Six Siege. For me, I never experienced this issue that much, but it is something to keep in note in case you use the middle mouse button very heavily, which I don't. So that's to be considered. Now, before I conclude, this is something that I want to talk about, and it's just how much shape is important here. Now, I had my previous main be this mouse. This is the OP1 8K mouse, a wired mouse in 2024, which shape-wise feels very, very good in the hand, if a bit small. But I was able to get most out of it, and it feels really, really good in the hand. But the specifications are very high. This is using a 3395 sensor, which I believe the Hero 2 is based on, but this is 8K at wired, which means you don't have to worry about charging it. You get consistent 8K polling, and the switches are some of the fastest, if not the fastest, on the market, full stop. The KLGX switches, when put with speed mode, have minimal latency when it comes to actuating the clicks. They basically actuate as soon as the mechanism is even pressed or moves its starting position. Now, for me, this mouse is a technical masterpiece, but this mouse fits into my hand way more. I was able to beat a lot of my Kovac scores, and I feel more consistent when aiming with this mouse in Counter-Strike, in Siege, in Apex, well, actually not Apex, but the finals. In any game that I throw this mouse at, I perform better than with this mouse. If you enjoy this mouse a lot, then by all means, I highly recommend this mouse. But at the end of the day, when it comes to shape, and this is very important, while this is technically superior in terms of its specifications, this mouse fits everything that I need when gripping the mouse and getting a consistent grip that allows me to micro adjust, that allows me to feel precise in my hand, and allows me to feel comfortable. I don't have to have as much tension at all with the mouse. It gets my hand in a consistent grip that I'm wanting all the time, instead of something like the OP1 8K, well, I have to get a bit of tension to get the mouse kind of where I want it. And if they made this slightly larger at the hump, then I think I'd absolutely love it. But for now, the Dex is my main. This is just all I want to use. This is all that I want to compete with. This just fits everything. And that's what makes this special. It is the first mouse that I've had in my mouse journey where I've just picked it up and went, yep, this is it. This is what I would happily have going forward, full stop. So everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you going through and clicking on this video and giving it a watch. If you come through to the end, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will try and do a bit more content in the future. But to sign off, the G Pro X Superlight 2 Dex, the Dex is an incredible mouse for people of my hand size. I highly recommend it as your ergo going forward. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Take care, and goodbye.